Hello, welcome back to the Live Reality Game Podcast. My name is Steven, and I'm back with more Surviving Reelfoot Fowler's Point content. And today with me, we have the 6th place finisher from the most recent season, Lauren. How are you doing, Lauren?
Great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to break down this season with you. I mean, I had a couple of my other people come before me, so hopefully we'll get the story straight, right? That's what's most important.
Well, isn't like with every season, you have 17 players, 17 different stories. Everyone has their own view and angle on things.
No, I'm just kidding. Most of the stories they've all said have been completely accurate.
Well, I'm hoping that there's a few secrets we can ferret out about you. Did you catch Bash last night? He revealed he stole Josh's shirt. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like
I was there for
secrets
that.
are coming out.
I was there for the shirt steal, and I was like, you do you, brother. Steal that shirt.
So you are no stranger to podcasting. You are a podcaster yourself, aren't you?
I am. So I actually podcast on Johnny Fairplay's network, Reality NSFW.
And do you focus on Survivor? Or do you focus on other reality TV shows?
So I do Survivor, and then I do MTV's The Challenge, and then we do Challenge All Stars. So everything challenge related, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So those are my two that I talk about.
So it's safe to say you are a major Survivor super fan, super duper fan. Like, where would you put yourself on the fandom scale, whatever that means?
I started watching season 1, Borneo. I was 5.5, 6 years old, around that ballpark, and I've been hooked ever since.
So talk to me about the decision to actually go play Survivor and do a live game.
So it's funny because I'm a very competitive person, mm-hmm. and I always want to test myself and see if I can achieve anything. I am not an outdoors person. Everyone probably could tell once I got out there. I'm like, ooh, okay, machete can stay over to the left. I don't need to touch it. The fire, I can throw sticks in here and there. I'll collect wood. But for me, I just said, you know what? I played a lot of orgs. Mm-hmm. I knew a couple people that played on the previous season of Reelfoot. I said, I'm going to sign up, see how it goes, go into that interview, kill it, and hopefully they cast me. And they casted me, and I went out and played, and I had the most amazing time of my entire life, and I have absolutely zero regrets from it.
So how did you prepare? What did you do in advance once you learned you were on the season?
Honestly, not much of anything. I just typically what I do my day-to-day life, I'm very active. I'm pretty athletic and all of that. I bought a flint and steel and tried it for 0.5 seconds. I was like, there'll be someone out there that can do it. That doesn't need to be my role. I'm there for the game and the gameplay. I'm not there for the outdoorsy part of it. And it still worked out for me, I think. I didn't really necessarily have to do all those different things while I was out there.
So given that you're a podcaster and you're steeped in Survivor, was the strategy that part you were most excited for and planning on then?
Strategy, the gameplay, and 110% the challenges. I love challenges. I wanted to play in every single one of those, and I only came out just short missing a couple of them. But to be able to participate in all those challenges was a ton of fun. Some of them were more brutal than others, and some of them I left with my brain being injured.
Well, I don't know which challenge that's going to be, so I'm excited when we get to that.
There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them that require the good old noggin.
Repeated traumatic brain injuries. Well, what else can you want in Survivor season, right?
Yeah, I guess as good as mine.
So talk to me about, you said you kind of just didn't really prepare, came in, but surely you were thinking like strategically what you want to do coming to the game.
Okay, so I take that back in terms of preparation. I was saying in preparation with my daily life, mm-hmm. I played 3 different orgs before coming into this to like just go through strategy and playing different options of like how I wanted to maybe work through the game. Mm-hmm. And I won an org 2 days before coming out. I was like, that's the boost I need to just come in and steamroll this game. Mm-hmm. So just working through how to communicate with different people, because I've always said, this is my personal opinion, a cast is everything. You might click with people instantly and you might not click with them at all. So you have to then be able to adapt. How do I fit into how this person's going to want to maneuver through the game, how their thought process is going to be, and tailor to that. So sometimes you have to change yourself up a little bit. Whereas with this cast in particular, I didn't really have to change who I really was as a person at all, because my tribe was high energy, crazy people, and I was here for it.
So you kind of talked about, you played some orgs, kind of were calibrating what was working, what wasn't working. What did you know like was working, where you're like, I should avoid playing in this sort of way? It's just not my style. It doesn't fit me.
So I have a reputation in the org community for throwing my games away from my allies and being this close to the end and just, you know, not being able to pull that trigger of making the deep and hard decision to let them go. Because if anyone can't tell, I really genuinely love people. I will do anything for anyone. Anyone can call me at any time. I'll pick up the phone just because, you know, people need that in their life. Not everyone has that and doesn't have the support that they truly need. And I hope to always give that support to others. And so my friend, before the game started, because you can call someone, you can talk to someone, I called her and she said, listen, play the game, play hard, and it's okay if you have to turn on some people, because at the end of the day, it is just a game. You went all the way out there to play it, and just be yourself, yes, but at the same time, don't be afraid to pull the trigger, because I do genuinely get close to people. And so that was my biggest obstacle I knew coming into the game.
So a lot of times players may want to like hide or obscure parts about their lives. Were you looking to be completely upfront with everything, or were there parts like, let's maybe hold back a bit of this?
Honestly, I was pretty honest and open about myself. If people asked me questions about who I am, what I stand for, I talked about it. But if things didn't get brought up, that's fine. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to talk about the podcasting thing right away and all that, because that can put a little bit of a target on your back if you talk about Survivor every single week and you're literally analyzing other people's gameplay, seeing what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and how you, if you're going to go out and play, what you could do to adjust from what the mistakes they made or the brilliant moves that they were able to pull off.
So did the podcast come up later on the season then?
The podcast came up, well, so James, from moment one, apparently he recognized me.
Yeah, so we can just talk about this now. The question from James is, he recognized you immediately from your podcast, but he didn't tell you at all until the day he was getting voted out. What would have happened if he kind of came up to you on day one and say, hey, you're Lauren, I know who you are?
Yes, so that actually would have changed a couple of things for me. I would have had to do a little bit of tweaking here and there. Definitely keep James close to my side as I did in the game. Him and I are great friends after the game as well. But I would have been a little, all right, this guy also knows his stuff. This guy also knows Survivor. So that means to me, I got to be very, very careful how I maneuver with him through the game. I still would have kept him close, but also I would be thinking, all right, this guy's smart. This guy's going to want to probably make some moves too. So I got to look out for that. So it would have changed a little bit of my perception of James, definitely. And I think that I would have been more concerned about him earlier than I was in the game.
Okay. So, and then one other fun quote before again, you were Pete Morgan's fantasy pick, and I believe I drafted you as well. I was really pulling for you, so I was really bummed to see you go out when you did. But let's get straight to the game. So you arrive at the game. Unlike prior seasons, there's no kind of like meet and greet. You're just kind of dropped in, and there you begin. And it's a schoolyard pick. So tell me how that goes down for you.
Oh, schoolyard picks. Don't we love them? So when I heard schoolyard pick, I go, okay, I think I'm going to get picked relatively early, because literally I was out there hat on backwards. I look athletic, I think, at least I hope. And I somewhat have a little bit of that competitive, people say the resting bitch face. Yeah, it's pretty much true. I was told, make sure you go out and try and smile and wave to people a little bit more instead of just having that like crossing your arms and the serious face. Because like I said, get competitive. What are you going to do? So I was pretty confident I would get picked if people were thinking challenges. Okay, we need a strong, athletic looking person. And that's kind of what happened. I got picked. So kind of how ours went was Ryan picked Megs picked Casey, then Casey picked me. And then from there, the picking went exactly how I wanted the picking to go. I recognized Storm from the org community. Him and I had never spoken to each other before. He had seen me play in a couple games. I've actually never seen him play in any games, but he was kind of lurking around in the same page as I was. And I go, Yes, I'll take that big, strong guy on the end, please. And the funniest thing was I knew his freaking name. That was the other thing I researched too. I was studying orgs, LRGs, all that before coming out here. I recognized Megan. I watched her play Survival Challenge. Never told her that in the game. Kept that a secret. So I was making sure I was kind of figuring out, okay, this person could maybe be out here. This person, you just don't know. So that was one of my strategies going in, playing the game before the game even started.
So beyond Megan and beyond Storm, was there anyone else you recognized?
Freaking should have recognized Dina. She played this one game of Storms right before this game. And I go back, as soon as I had my phone back, I go back and look and go, how did I miss this? What just happened? So I missed a little bit of my research, but it worked out. And then with the pick, Storm comes up to me, and then we're thinking who we're going to pick next. I was like, freaking pick that Angela girl. I didn't know her name, but her, because I was standing next to her at the beginning, and I go, okay, I vibe with her. I need her on my side. And so it's literally from moment one, I was playing the game. And I know some other people said they wanted to wait to jump the gun. I said, you know what? I'm out here. I'm going to play hard. It could backfire. And if it does, at least I went out playing.
Yeah, because one of the things you end up doing is in the house, you're not even out into the game yet. You're grabbing your tribe stuff, and apparently you grab Angela's and you grab Storm separately and say, I gotcha.
100%. Go right into Storm's room where my stuff also was. And I go, Storm, you, me, final two, buddy, I got you. And he's like, 100%, I recognize you. I know who you are. I said, amazing. Storm goes to change. What do? Go to the next room, hit up Angela. I said, girl, I'm with you. I feel good. I love this. Then I walk outside and I'm like, all right, I got two people with me now. Now we got to find the rest of the crew.
So let's talk a little about the opening twist. So you're told to write someone's name down. You're not told why. You're not told what for, but you said pick someone's name. Who did you write down and why?
I looked at Storm. Storm looked at me. I said, we're writing each other's names down. So that's what we did. Kind of to deflect a little bit. See, that is the one thing. You got to... It's hard. You have that little hesitation. Should I be saying all this information? Should I be doing all this? Because what if they're not on the same wavelength as me? But from what I knew of Storm, I said, okay, Storm's a gamer, so I'm just going to do this. We did that. Turns out to be a tie. On the revote, I wrote Casey's name down instead of Storm's name. So I changed my vote when they tied. So, because I didn't know exactly what it was. And I said, okay, this could be bad. I don't want Storm to be in a tough situation starting off the game. But we were kind of just, I didn't think he was going to get that many votes. And I knew I probably wasn't going to get many votes either. So that was our strategy there. And it still worked out. Casey ended up with it, which was fine with me because I didn't think Casey was going to give that medallion to me because he just picked me.
And so Casey gets immunity, and he has to give a medallion that will cause the player to get an extra vote tribal council. This is a returning twist from season 3. Did you recognize it, or what were your initial thoughts about hearing about the twist?
As soon as I heard the twist, I said, oh, Lauren might be doomed by this twist at some point in the game. And let me tell you, that medallion can literally RIP.
You bear the mark of being one of only 2 players to walk out with that around their neck.
Yes.
Keenan pre-merge and you post-merge. It was interesting to see how players reacted and when that medallion really mattered and when it didn't.
I said, all right, this twist is not a Lauren twist, and it's exactly what happened. I was toasted by it, but that's okay. I mean, I do love twists in the game, and the thing I liked about this game in particular, there weren't a ton of twists. And the twist was very consistent with the game. And so I'm, as a gamer myself, and just seeing different Survivor seasons and all that, the amount of twists that come in for like 2 episodes or 3 episodes and then they go away, people get confused. This one was so consistent where you knew, okay, this is how it works. It's not going to change.
So you're telling me your favorite twist isn't the do or die twist? So one of the things
I'm down on my little level here. I don't need to be going up here having my debates about these do or die twists. However, I will say this, great television with those, not gonna lie, because it's worked out for them, and they get to stay in the game. So what are you gonna do?
Do you want to join me in wearing a tinfoil hat and say the box are rigged and no one will ever be eliminated by it because Jeff probes his little button so he can make sure it's always going to be the way he wants it to be?
I think you could be correct, but also incorrect, because I think there would be someone out there that would be not smart enough to get it right. So
we got people pick the wrong box 2 seasons in a row and still survive. So what is math, right?
That is true. What is math? Math is hard, people.
So getting back to Reelfoot, one of the things that happens, I think before you go to grab your clothes, Casey brings your tribe together and says, hey, this medallion that I've given Keenan, I want to act as immunity. I want this factor into our game. I really want this to us to not matter. Let's play around it. He gives this kind of speech to your tribe. Tell me about that and your reaction.
I go, wow, what a schmoozer. I don't believe that shit for a second, is how I was feeling. I'm going, that is the most BS thing I've ever heard in my life. I go, bro, own it. You gave it to him. Just say you did it. He came up with this elaborate story, which I commend for trying. But at the same time, I'm not the only one going over there and saying to themselves, what is that all about? And also, when in the hell did something become an immunity? That is a medallion. Last time I checked, they didn't say an immunity necklace.
So had Casey said that just in a one-on-one conversation with you, would you have believed that more, or is just because the group setting at the outing, you're just red flags?
Oh, it was red flags from the jump. Moment one, red flags. But Again, I commend him for trying. He was trying to, come up with a reason behind it. I really don't know what happened with the blue situation, how they kind of processed or talked through that. But again, I knew Casey was going to be smart, because I'm going, this guy is definitely thinking, because he knew from the second that he had to come up with some type of story.
So talk to me about when you get to your campsite, just the things that go on that first day with setting up the campsite. Who are you bonding with? Tell me everything.
All right, campsite, which is where my 0% expertise comes in. So we get there, and the one thing of input I did provide, and I will say I'm here for it, is they wanted to build the shelter originally down this little, little rough patch where all the water would, flow through. Let's think about this here, people.
It's going to rain.
We know it's going to rain. And also that happened to be where Rattlesnake decided to, pack a lunch and chill there. So I suggested, along with other people, okay, why don't we go up a little bit higher ground and build something there? So that is the one piece I added on day one with the campsite. Other than that, I was just a busy bee gathering wood, but also, forming bonds and relationships with people. But I still helped with the shelter. Like I said, just tell me what you need me to do. But by no means am I a mastermind or was wanting to take charge, take the lead on any of that. People said, I got the fire. I said, great, have at it. When people said I got the shelter, I said, great, have at it. I'll go get wood and I'll make connections with people while all you busy doing that.
So so talk me through your tribe and your initial impressions of everyone.
Initial impressions of everyone. I said, wow, how did all the personalities end up on one singular tribe? You had wild and crazy. And I say to myself, I have a little bit of an outgoing personality, but being with all of them, I go, whoa, am I more so on the bottom of this crew right here? Which I had to underplay that about myself. I'm very outgoing and I love to connect with people and talk. But being out there, I go, all right, I'm gonna let all these people talk. Sync yourself, please keep talking. And, we had a football out there. We were throwing a football around. We were just the crazy, fun-loving tribe. I had fun out there. That's the one thing I will say. There was never a dull moment where no one didn't have a good time. We just were laughing and enjoying ourselves. True.
So are you having further conversations with Storm and Angela as this day progresses?
Yeah, we're definitely talking to each other. At one point in time, I do remember. Also, don't mind me. My memory is very, very poor, but I do remember this moment where I had Ryan for a second and I said, kind of walk slowly with me over in this direction. And I think Dina was chilling over there. I think Angela and her Storm was chilling over there. And I go, Ryan, how are you feeling about people in the game? He's like, I think I like this group right here. And I said, great, me too. Enough said. So then that's kind of where people started breaking off in their little directions here and there, chatting amongst the group of 5 that we were slowly starting to form, but also form those other bonds, other connections that we had with James and Keenan in the game as well. So I think people were branching off and then comparing notes. And that's the big thing that I think really helped our alliance in particular is we would go off and talk to other people and then come back and say how this person felt about one another, just so it never came up, hey, you're working with them, I don't trust you or believe you anymore, because that's what you run into in games sometimes, where if you are working with one side in particular, another side might want to approach you or want you. If you don't tell the one side that's your true alliance, you could get so screwed in the game. So you need to come to them with the information before the other alliance tries to throw you under the bus.
So do you have any conversations with Megs and Casey in this first day?
No, absolutely none.
Okay.
Zero. Well, the conversations, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? All that. Strategy, zippo. None whatsoever. But the thing about it is you can't talk strategy with everybody. You seriously can't. Because if you're talking strategy with everyone, then that's when people go, all right, I'm worried about this person. And I already did my moment 1 approaching of people. So I needed to take a step back, let other people come and approach me a little bit, and then form those groups here and there. But they didn't talk to me about games. So I go, okay, I can't be the one to initiate this conversation. I've already done that with too many people.
So this first day, you have this memory match challenge. How was that for you?
Okay, memory match challenge. I have the worst memory. It's terrible. But Casey said, I have a worse memory than you probably. So I said, all right, you sit out. Casey sits out. I kid you not, the moment I go up for my first match, I flip over the boot. Then I said, all right, I'm literally going to go with my hands, point that different direction, and just walk straight to that other card. Walk straight to the card. What do? I flip over the boot. I said, I don't even care if I get no more matches. I just got it on the first try. So hell yeah.
Is there anything else about this first day you want to talk about?
No, I don't, because I can't. It's going to be a lot for me to remember. So just pass it on by. Day 1 was a success in the Lauren book in terms of alliances and connections, though.
Well, I think what's pivotal is this night 1 and just the sleeping arrangements, right? Because of what ends up happening, to my knowledge, is Casey and Megs and James are, I think, in the shelter, and everyone else is kind of by the fire, right? And this ends up kind of really bringing this group of people together. Is that true? Do you feel that's true?
So I do think the group was already brought together prior to, but this solidified the group because I was kind of on night 1 slowly seeing like who was kind of going where people were trying to sleep, and just waiting until I finally started to lay down. And first of all, when I saw people going under the shelter, I go, okay, not sleeping under there, because I saw who the people were. And I was like, nope, negative, gonna be by the fire. Also thinking I was gonna be a bit warmer by the fire. And let me tell you, it was cold every single night out there. I think night 2 was warm-ish. And I say warm-ish, you know, it was probably like 59, 60 degrees. I don't know. But I froze my ass off every night, so it didn't matter where I freaking slept. But I knew I needed to sleep next to my people in the game.
So the next day, you end up doing a slew of reward challenges, which don't go very well for your tribe. Talk me through the first one. You have the SOS challenge.
Oh, the SOS challenge. Yes. This was a challenge where Lauren said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and let people steer this one. I am not creative. I am a worker bee, and that's fine. And it went poorly, clearly. Very, very poor. Our colors were off. We had a duck, which when someone brought up the duck, I said, all right, I guess we're rolling with the duck. And I just collected what I needed to collect with. And I also, while we were collecting, I was talking strategy the whole time with people. I was watching people, the little pairs that went off, and I'm go, all right, these 2 people over there, I want to go talk to them. I need to be included in this conversation. So I'm going to go collect, and talk to who I needed to talk to. So I did not care about that challenge one bit. It was a reward challenge. I was more concerned about who's in my alliance and keeping my mouth shut.
You're talking a lot about collecting wood and using it as an opportunity for conversations. Are you actively starting the idle hunt at all, or how much do idles and advantages factor into your game?
So idols and advantages, my game, it's not my style. That is not, for me personally, my approach always is knowing where the idols and advantages are is more important than having the trinket yourself. And here's why. Because if things go awry or something goes wrong with it, it falls on that person. It doesn't fall on you. And then you also aren't having the decision where I just made this huge move with an idol and an advantage. Now people are going to be coming for me. So if I know where all the things are in the game, that's more important to me than having them myself. So yes, I was looking, but not 110% looking until further on in the game when it was less numbers. But at the beginning, I just wanted to have people on my side that I knew where it was. And boy, did I know where it was. So that's all that matters. I didn't need to have it in my hand. And also having those connections with people to say, maybe they'll play it on me. So it's kind of working that too. So even if it is their idol, it might not be their idol because they might be willing to play it on you.
So your next challenge you do is the slip and slide challenge. How was that for you?
Oh boy, I said to myself, do not break your hip, do not get hurt. I'm a runner. I want to be able to do these things when I get back home. So my strategy was literally just go on your ass. Do not go on the stomach. Just go slow because you don't need to go down fast the slip and slide. You don't. And my other thought was, what if I run into the dang kayak and break my leg? That was running through my mind too. So I said, all right, I can get to the kayak. I can paddle. I know I can paddle. I told people I can't really paddle, just, playing it off. If something did go wrong, then, oh, she already told us she sucked. So I just remember getting into the boat, struggling to get in the boat. And then when I did, I was fine. And then the sprint up the hill, I was fine. And then we get to the ring toss and I go, yep, that's why I'm not in the circus.
Do you remember who you were matched up against?
I was matched up against Barb. And this is the other thing too. I wanted to go a little bit earlier potentially because I wanted to go up against one of the guys and kick one of their asses. Like that's really what I wanted to do. But we got steamrolled in the challenge, so it didn't much matter.
And then your final reward challenge is the floor is lava challenge. You have to go across the balance beams, memorize the pattern of colors, come back and recreate that.
Yeah, so my ass should have been sitting out of that. That was, oof. But we were worried about the planks, and Storm was like, this is perfect for me to sit out. And I'm sitting there saying, whew, I got to remember colors. I have to remember a sequence. No, this is going to be terrible. This is where we had the strategy wrong, though, because the person putting the colors together at the end didn't need to be good at memory. They just had to freaking have listening skills and listen to the people that told them the colors. I should have been doing that. James's ass should have been on the balancing beams and going to memorize. That's where we messed up because we were like, this is smart. We'll put James there. No worries. And I'm like, whoop, all right. I'm just being told what to do.
Yeah, Storm says there's no way he should have been playing that challenge. So
yeah, Storm, you and me both. I just didn't want to argue with you. And I'm like, my brother, you can sit out, enjoy the sit out bench for this round, but it should have been me out. It should have. It was not good.
So how is tribe morale at this point after losing the 3 opening reward challenges?
I think people were disappointed in everything, but again, we had so many people that were upbeat, had positive attitudes, and it was just one of those things where, okay, they can win all the reward challenges that they want, but if they can't get it together when it's crunch time for immunity, well, hey, that's their loss. We're going to get it together and we're going to get through this, win it, and then you get to the immunity challenge, right?
And well, let's just go straight to the immunity challenge. You do have your first immunity challenge that night. This is the obstacle course challenge that you have to solve a ladder puzzle, go back and solve a final puzzle, and you'll have one of the greatest comebacks ever.
It's a great comeback. I will tell you, I played college soccer actually. So I've been part of winning games in overtime, double overtime, penalty kicks, like huge games for like NCAA tournament positions and all that, and winning conference championships. I will say I have 2 soccer moments that this moment will not top, but it topped everything else simply because you just think, crap, someone from your tribe is going to go home first. And we just stayed positive. We stayed calm. And I did the role, which I'm best at. Saw the puzzle at the end, took a step back with Megs, and I said, have at it, guys. There you go. I will be here rooting you on. They slab it all together. The celebration happens, and I see Storm. Storm's kind of coming at me. I'm like, oh, I need to take pause. I'm not trying to get steamrolled, run over here. I don't need to be like pancaked to the ground. That was my other concern with the celebration. Everyone was very huggy, jumping up and down. And I go, I just don't want to get hurt. So that was kind of my take on the celebration. It was fun. Now, I will say this. That being said, I tried to downplay my celebration for sure because of being an athlete and all that. And I've seen people when they get really, really excited and then they get screwed in another game further on down the road, maybe 1 or 2 years later, and then everyone comes back. Yeah, I told you so. And then they rub it in your face. So it's kind of one of those things where got to stay a little bit humble, enjoy the ride, enjoy the celebration, but also be mindful who's on the other tribe, because swaps do come up in the game and people use anything against you, anything at all, whether it's a minor thing, whatever it is, to maybe want to vote you out of this game. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be one of the calmer celebrators. So people on blue see me and go, all right, she's cool. She's not going to rub anything in our face. So I was thinking the whole time.
So I don't know exactly when today, either it's after the third reward challenge or after this immediate victory, but your alliance comes together and dubs themselves the Fire and Ice Alliance of you, Ryan, Angela, and Storm.
Fire and Ice, what an alliance name. I think I came up with the name. I'm actually pretty certain I came up with the name. So I will take credit for that one in particular. But we had the Fire and Ice. You had me, Storm, Angela, Dina, and Ryan. What a crew that came together. I do know, now I haven't really watched any of the live footage because I don't know. I maybe will at one point in time, but right now I'm not ready to do that. I do know there is a moment where us 5 all come together, put our hands in, and have that little celebration of the 5 of us. So there you have Fire and Ice, which I think is the only alliance name on the season. Correct me if I'm wrong. So iconic. There you go. Label of season 10. You got Fire and Ice.
So you have the 5, and how do you feel in this 5 at this point?
I feel good. I feel like I have different ways with every single person in the 5. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Dina and I linked up kind of like this. I know I had my alliance with Angela and Storm, the little ones here and there, but I just remember distinctly, it was back on day 1 where Dina and I connected, and I think I said probably something sarcastic to her, or, I'd said a joke or something, and I think she goes, all right, I definitely like this girl. She's funny. And so we were kind of lockstep after that, because I could joke around with her. I could say whatever I wanted. And, she thought it was funny. So, hey, if you can win people over with humor, it's the best way to go.
So, because I think the way your tribe is shaping up is you have the 5 of you. You then have Keenan and James, who are working with you but not part of the 5. And then you have Casey and Megs. What's your relationship with Keenan and James at this point?
So James, actually, that was a key day 1 conversation as well. James and I did have a one-on-one conversation about both of us wanting to work with each other. And at that point in time, I already knew who my group was, but I knew James felt a connection to Angela and myself. So we kind of wanted that to be a 3 on the outside a little bit of our 5. That would be helpful for us in the long run, just to have another person on the side. Keenan and I, wow. Where do I start with Keenan and I? I think we just joked around. As soon as I saw the football, I go, yes, okay. We have a football at camp. Guess who's going to be tossing around the football? Me. So we did toss around day 1 and all of that. The thing with Keenan, he was out there also, I think for the same reasons I was. Of course, to win, but also to have a good time, enjoy yourself, and meet some fun people. And he always brought the energy. He always brought the passion. And I think I've said that before. He had such a passion for this game that I respected that so, so much, because you don't find a ton of people that are saying to themselves, I love this game so much. I want to do really, really well and give it my best go.
Mm-hmm. And so over the course of the day, I feel like this is when the plan to vote Megs kind of solidifies into a thing. However, what's interesting is, talk to me, because you and Casey end up kind of setting each other up as like an antagonist of each other, right? Which I remember you were like kind of saying in your confessions, like, oh, this is maybe not the best thing, because now I think I might be catching votes because Casey's starting to target me.
Yes. So, sir, Mr. Casey approaches me, I think on day 2, and goes, I really want to work with you. I'm saying to myself, where was that 30 seconds into the game? Because I already got my crew. And I go, what are your numbers? He says, I got Megs. I want to work with you. And I want to work with Dina. And I'm sitting there under the shelter and I'm thinking, if my math is correct, that is 4 people. Where is the majority? Then he mentions James's name a little bit, and I said, okay, now we're rolling with some numbers here. So I go to Dina and I said, right, let's play double agent, see if we can do this. And then, oh boy, no. The double agent was cut, done, because I think Casey got a vibe, oh, Lauren is not on the Casey train or the Megs train. And boy, was he right. He had me pegged with that. I will give him credit. He had me pegged. I think in a different universe, maybe Casey and I could have worked together. But again, if you wait until day 2 or day 3 to start talking to people, you really find yourself in trouble. And it could have worked differently if you're with different group of people. And that's what I said. I recognize that I was with people that were there to play the game from moment 1, not people who were there to wait around, feel people out a bit longer. And you do see that with some seasons where it's okay to wait around because a lot of people aren't strategizing. But with this tribe, everyone was strategic. Everyone wanted to play, and they wanted to find their little home with whoever was going to be part of their alliance.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like each tribe has its own tone as to how fast the game should go. Because I remember, like, my tribe for Reelfoot, I feel like things really got moving like day 2. Like, I didn't see or have any hard strategic discussions like you're having my day 1, but it just changes as the personalities. It's kind of like the art of reading what's going on around you and making sure that if everyone's going fast, you're also going fast. And you're not going too fast. Someone's like, oh, look at him. We should take him out first.
That's the thing. You have to read the people that you're working with and adapt to who they are. Had I started out with Blue, whew, bless my heart, but had I started out with them, I would have realized very quickly, okay, someone like Drew, I could go to Drew because Drew wants to play quickly. But everyone else, you could tell, all right, they need to play a more of a slow burn social game, get to know people instead of jumping the gun right then and there. So it's just knowing your crowd, knowing your audience. I mean, for me, I guess I could reference Ryan here a little bit. Ryan, to me, came across as someone that wanted to play a little bit slower of a game, but also wanted to get in good with a group. And I go, I like Ryan. Ryan is a dude I want to work with. So that's why I wanted to make sure all of us clicked and got our crew together with that, because Ryan, one of the best survival people in the sense of knowing what to do out there. I was like, thank God I have Ryan, because I would literally be dead, literally dying. And for other reasons too, because I slept next to Ryan almost every single night out there. And had I not slept next to Ryan, I literally would have been freezing. His jacket kept both of us warm as possible. And I am so thankful for him. He's one of my best friends from this game. So it's just crazy how we come from completely different walks of life and how close you can get to some of these people.
So moving on to day 3, you see that Drew was the first one voted out from the other tribe, and you go into your next immunity challenge, which later will be kind of a reward challenge. This is when you have to search for the balls in the haystack, then do the vertical table maze. How was this challenge for you?
Well, as soon as they said runners, I said, well, I know what position I'm in. I'm a runner. So I said, all right, we're going to be running back and forth a lot. It's basically a suicide mission. So I think some people, I was able to keep the pace the entire time, but I just remember Keenan, I'd be yelling at Keenan, come to the line, run through the line, because he would go very, 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 very fast out there, go through the hay, dig, 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 and then come out, and then he'd be like, I'm like, Keenan, this is a slow jog. I need a sprint here, please, because I cannot go until you get back to me. So it was interesting to watch people go out and dig through the hay bales, whatever they're called. And yeah, I'm happy we won. That was a fun challenge to do. I would have been terrible on the puzzle. Don't put me on the puzzle. I don't do memory. I don't do puzzle. Everything else, top notch.
So this ends up becoming a reward, and you all get pizza back at camp. Now, I don't remember when the day this happens, but at some point in this day, Ryan will find the idol. And while you aren't there for that, I believe Storm and Dina are, you are immediately informed that Ryan has found the idol.
And that is exactly what I said earlier on. You don't necessarily have to have the trinkets, but if someone in your alliance does, good to know that information, because then it sets it up much easier going into a first vote, not having to worry about someone pulling out an idol, having to split votes here and there, and worrying about all those different pieces. Because the thing is, you never know when someone can pull out an idol or advantage. So if your side has it, then you can say, okay, we don't have to play 50 different scenarios before going into the vote. We can play scenario numero uno, and that's all we have to worry about.
So you then have your next actual media challenge. This is the idle hands challenge. Do you remember who you were up against and how that went?
Oh, I was on the bench because
it's the only time you got benched.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So, little tidbit here. It was downpouring tremendously, and we did the little thing where raise your hand up in the air. How high can you go? Like, what's your reach? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm in my poncho, I am dry. It's not the worst case scenario if I somehow sit out of this challenge. Did I want to play in the competitor to me? Of course. But also I'm saying I'm keeping myself dry, and I'm going to probably remain dry the rest of the day. And some people that night had wet stuff to sleep in. And guess who had everything dry? Me.
Well, your tribe wins this immunity as well. And is there anything else you want to talk before we get to the final immunity challenge of the day?
No, I was just to say with the idol thing, if it was dry and not raining, I would have fought harder to play in that challenge. But also, we did know you have to sit people out, and you can't sit the same people out back-to-back challenges. So we also factored that in. And it made sense for me to sit out of this one, being the smaller one out there with my arm reach it's not top tier.
I actually do have another question for you about the idol. Hypothetically, let's say you found the idol. Would you share it with your alliance, or would you just keep it secret?
Oh, hell no. The only time any of those people would have known about the dang idol was when I whipped it out to play it or took it home for a souvenir. I would have told Zippo. And the fact that our entire alliance knew about the idol, I go, great, this is amazing for me. But boy, do these people not know, I would have shared that with nobody.
Just a very different philosophy. Now you get to your final meeting challenge today, and this is the amazing navigation challenge where you have to maneuver the ball to the chicken coop, down the pipes, onto the really heavy table maze. What was your role?
Okay, so my role in that challenge was not maneuvering the ball. I was where you had to hold up the thing for the ball to fall down, kind of do the little train, if you want to call it that. And I was the first person where you had to stick it up high enough for the ball to go down. Well, here's where the problem came in. I am short. I know people tell me that they see me on screen and I give 5'10" energy. I am 5'3", maybe on a good day. So I'm reaching up to get this ball. Dina is also freaking short. So I'm sitting there saying, oh my God, we are going to struggle getting this ball lined up because her and I cannot freaking reach. Finally, we get through that portion of it. We get some of the balls in and everything. And I'm just like, we're not winning this thing. We go to the table maze and I go, all right, we're definitely not winning this thing. One strategy came into play where we're just going to hot potato the ball, see where the ball lands. It could land on the other tribe's table for all I care at this point to screw them up, but it didn't do that. My only suggestion was sometimes when they did it, they would get close and I'm like, just finish the maze, just finish it. But I would like, keep your mouth shut, stand in the corner with James, Megs, and whoever else was sitting out. I think Dina wasn't on the table. And I just stood there and I watched and I go, all right, who we voting out first?
Well, so your tribe ends up losing, but you kind of already know the answer. Like you have a plan set in motion for Megs. It's been kind of 3 days coming. Is there any notable strategy or scrambling that happens for you before this tribal council?
So I knew I was going to catch votes. Like as soon as the scramble started happening, I'm going, my name will be coming up on this parchment. Mm-hmm. But also Ryan's name was an option as well to be coming up on the parchment because Megs and Casey did talk to me. Megs basically said she wanted to vote for Ryan. And I said, cool, all day long. I go to Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, they want to write your name down. That ain't happening. Mm-hmm. And then Casey comes to me and goes, well, your name was out there, but I got it to somebody else. I said, oh, did you? Because I'm still going to see 2 of my name written down on parchment. Like I still know I'm going to see 2 Laurens. And so I think he was just blowing smoke up my ass. And he said, you good for Ryan? I said, oh yeah, all day long. You're going to see the RYAN on that parchment from me, hands down. So did that happen? No, of course not.
So that vote ends up being a 7-1 with Keenan catching 1 vote. You catch your first 2 votes this season, and Megs, it's a pretty unanimous tribe vote. Were you expecting to receive the medallion?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So were you surprised to see Angela get it?
After hearing about everything, nope, not surprised at all.
So the medallion ends up being almost a blessing in disguise because Angela's taken away from y'all. You don't know what's going on. And soon you learn it is a tribe swap, which were you anticipating a tribe swap once you get down to 14?
So I will tell you this, and I will say I was watching everything that was going on. At that first tribal council, I counted 10 holes at tribal for the torches. And I go, all right, one thing, gonna know it's 10-person merge. Like, we knew that. And I told people on my tribe, I forget who I told, but I literally told people, I said, gonna be 10-person merge. Second thing I noticed when you're talking about the medallion with the tribe swap, as soon as she went to walk away, I go, the other person from the other tribe, whoever has that medallion, we're swapping tribes. So I knew that tribe swap was coming as soon as they had taken her away because it's just fishy production. Angela, I need you. What the hell else could you need Angela for? She's still in the game. Where are you taking her? You're taking her to go do a tribe swap. Now, did I know they were going to have cupcakes? No. I didn't know they were going to have cupcakes. I knew there was going to be a conversation, though.
So this tribe swap works out pretty good for you, though.
Oh, yeah. It worked out great for me. As soon as I heard who was on my tribe, I go, yes, let's go. All of Fire and Ice Together is still here, except the one issue I ran into. I go, all right, I'm losing Dina. I have a problem with this because I was very tight with Dina out there, and Dina was very good for my game. So seeing her go over it with them, I was a little concerned, but I also know how Dina is. She's a great player. She's a good strategist. She knows what she's doing. And
I'm sorry, this made me laugh. Bad in the game for not knowing there'll be cupcakes. Oh, Lauren, we expected more from you.
John, I love you. Yes, that is where my read was poor. I'm sorry I did not pick the correct dessert that they would be having.
Sorry, continue. Dina is an ally that you're really close with. That's really valuable to you, and she is on the other tribe, which you can look at the other tribe and say that tribe is going to have trouble.
So I look over there and I said, yikes, I'm scared because I lose 2 things from this. I lose one of my other sleeping buddies because she was the other one aside from Ryan. Number 2, I lose someone that it's a lot of fun to have a person in the game with you that you can just joke around with and like bounce things off of one another and not take each other too seriously. And that was what our relationship was. And so when you lose that, you go, all right, I got to find fun with a couple other folks, even though we still have a lot of the fun people with us. You know, you kind of balance all those things out. But yes, when I see who's on the blue tribe, I'm like, oh, all right, that's going to be interesting. people might have to dig themselves out of a few holes. The one thing I will say, when I saw Casey wasn't with me, I said, rip, brother. See you soon. Hopefully not.
Well, looking at the tribe and seeing that you have 3 blue in that tribe, right? You have Barbara, Josh, Sharif, then you have Dina, James, Casey, and Keenan. You're probably just like, Casey's jumping ship, and it's not going to go well for the remaining 3 members of my tribe.
100% Casey's jumping ship, because he tried to have a conversation with me after tribal and basically said, listen, no hard feelings. I go, no hard feelings. I don't remember anything. Like, you didn't write my name down. It didn't happen. Of course I'm going to remember it. Now, am I going to use it against you down the road? We'll see. I am the type of player. I'm open to options always in games. I never shut people off. I never do that. And the thing is, I know I'm talking a lot about like the rival Casey and I had. Casey and I have had good conversations since the game. And I even said, if things were different, I do think Casey would have been a great ally to have, but I already had my alliance. And so that's the thing. He just waited a little bit too long, but I do think he's a good player.
So let's do a little hypothetical. What if you did receive the medallion, so you get to go to the summits and you get to design your own tribe?
Oh, good grief.
What would your tribe look like? Who would you want to bring? What 3 players do you bring from your original tribe with you?
So I might have done this a little bit differently, because it depends on who the other person you're talking with as well.
Still Josh.
It's still Josh.
Still Josh.
Okay, I think I get what I want if it's still Josh. I do. Because the thing is, Josh came in there with a plan of the people that he wanted. Angela went in there with a plan of the people that she wanted. They compromised on some other people. It just kind of how it fell. Me personally, the smartest strategy might have been to split up Fire and Ice a little bit more. Now, needless to say, it worked out for me because I got with the people still that I wanted to be with, and I was in the numbers with my majority alliance. But at the same time, if the plan is to keep our entire alliance of 5 strong, split it up a little bit so you got kind of people in a mixture on both sides. Because think about this, like Angela and I, for instance, we still had a good rapport with James. So if James is with us and you have that dynamic there, and say then you send Dina and Ryan with each other who are close to the other tribe, you can work different angles, different numbers. Now, would my brain have been working that way over some cupcakes? I don't know. So we'll see.
Are cupcakes your one weakness?
Yeah, I know. I probably wouldn't have eaten the cupcakes. I don't really like cupcakes, but I would have tried and been like, oh, the sugar is just like going right through me. But that kind of would have been my thought process is, how do I make this work to make sure everybody in my group is safe?
So it sounds like you would have kept 3 people and like picked up James or Keenan, right? You would have kind of
no. I would have not picked up Keenan. I would have picked up James. that was not no. I would have let Keenan go over there for sure.
And so would you? So talk to me about these new players you're meeting. You're meeting Carly, Megan, Sebastian for the first time.
What a trip! Let me tell you, Bash immediately starts talking to me. We start talking about soccer and all that. So I'm like, easy, soccer reference. Click, check. Then I see Megan. Oh, Megan, hello. I know who you are. You don't know who I am, though. That could be a good thing or a bad thing for you. Because I knew how she did in Survival Challenge. I saw, the travel that she went out and everything. So I knew maybe a little bit of her gameplay. But again, Survival Challenge, you don't see people's confessionals. All you see are the challenges and the tribal councils predominantly. So you know a little information about how this person could potentially play. But again, it's her second live game, so she's going to switch some things up, I'm sure. And so as soon as I saw her, I'm like, yes, want to work with Megan. I had wanted to work with Megan from the jump. She was in my car on the way up to the game. So we kind of had, a little bit of eye contact, that you get a little bit of a rapport, but you don't know too much about the person.
What about Carly?
So Carly, this is actually a funny story that not a lot of people know about. What ended up happening, it was the next morning. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but we can track back if we have to. Her and I get sent to go back to camp to cook the rice. And I'm saying to myself, have y'all lost your ever-loving minds? sending me back to cook rice with another person who I freaking know probably can't cook rice either. We're standing there. I'm trying to get the fire going and everything. And I'm looking at myself saying, girl, you have any idea what you're doing? She said, no. And I go, this is a mistake. So what are we supposed to do? Go back to them and be like, hey, we don't have any rice cooking. That was our job. We were supposed to go back and to do. Instead, I could have been out there helping to build the raft for that challenge. And so I send Carly back. I stay back at camp. I think I send her back to say, hey, get me Megan or somebody, because I don't know what I'm freaking doing. I was able to restart the fire at night and stuff, but this thing was so freaking dead. And I don't cook anything. What people don't know about me, my job, I lived on a college campus basically since I've been 18 years old. And so I got all my meals for free with my package for my job. And so I lived in an apartment that had an oven and stove. Did I use the oven and stove ever? Hell no. I went to the cafeteria, collected my food, did it that way. I don't know how to cook anything. So the fact that these people thought I could cook rice, mistake.
Any other stories you want to talk about from that night 3 after the swap?
Okay, so this is the other thing I did notice. Carly and Angela had a lot of good conversations with each other. So I noticed that they were getting pretty close. I was trying to get close to Megan. Bash was Bash. What can you say about Bash? Great guy. He was fun out there. And that's what I'm saying. You had so many characters on this season that it just makes the cast so much more enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. You're watching for entertainment. I think we brought it in terms of entertainment with the people you had on the season.
So looking at these 3 players, who do you want to vote out first? What's going through your mind?
So here was what the problem was. So this is mode where I say to myself, idols, advantages. Where the heck are they? Because I'm not close enough to these people to get any of that information out of them. So I'm thinking, well, Storm, first of all, wanted Megan out. Like, that was no secret. Storm definitely wanted Megan out because, I mean, she's a strong competitor. You can see that in her. And that's a good reason to like chop off some of the people from the other side. And we knew Carly was on the bottom over there. We also knew Bash was on the bottom over there. But here's where the problem came in for me. I wanted to work with Megan in the game. I wanted to keep Megan in this game because I thought she could be an asset for me moving forward. And I also saw how close Angela and Carly could have potentially gotten. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. And so I'm going into the mode of who is the least likely person to have an idol or an advantage? Carly. And that's what went through my head.
So the next day you start off with the immunity challenge. This is the fishing challenge. We had to go collect the fish and come back and solve a lovely word puzzle. How was this for you?
Oh, this is the challenge I've been wanting to talk about this challenge.
Oh, please tell me more.
We hear running. Everyone looks at me. Oh, Lauren can now run. But before the challenge, the strategy was the 2 people that were supposed to be paddling were supposed to be me and Megan. That was what was supposed to happen. Then they hear about the running leg. They're like, oh, Lauren, run. I'm sitting there saying to myself, there's a freaking swim. I want to swim more than anybody because I did swim team. I've been swimming forever. We did not think this through because the runner, the 2 paddlers had to be on the puzzle. Why in the world would you want me representing you on the puzzle? Why? You're just setting yourself up for failure. So we just put the wrong person in the running. I honestly should have been swimming. That is the one thing I'm mad at myself. I did not push for more. I should have been swimming. We should have put someone else that was a swimmer to do the run because the run, think about it, was not a huge factor. The run, maybe I was ahead.
I hear it was short.
20 to 25 second lead. Okay. I can catch that up in some strokes on a swim. No problem. But at that moment, it's one of those things where if you say too much, people might want a gun for you. So I kept my mouth shut a little bit more. But that's the one where I regret not pushing harder to make something else happen with that challenge. But I will say this. I did okay with kind of the word puzzle. I was not terrible. I got victory. So, okay, I did something right.
Yeah, I was telling Bash, it's just your tribe got the word victory so fast. And then you let it go, and I was like, "Oh no!" And then things just went downhill from there.
I think it was a victory seat. And I was saying, Megan and Bash, word puzzle wizards. What is going on? I am not a wizard at any of these things. Mm-hmm. And so I got most of it for you. And then we just went off into too many different tangents. And I could tell Angela was ready to pull her hair out at us. Her frustration of saying, these morons cannot get this together, get this puzzle. And I was like, what are you going to do? So we end up losing that one. Mm-hmm. But one key thing that came after that is all of a sudden I see Sir Casey running over and whispering into Megan's ear. And I'm back with Storm and Angela, or one of the two. And I'm like, don't like that. Mm-hmm. Did not like that at all.
So talk to me about the strategy for this travel, right? Had you floated out, hey, we need to vote Carly before like the scramble period?
No, I was waiting and buying my time. So mm-hmm. when we're walking back, I hear that.
I don't know what that Dina won, but she won it.
Okay, Dina, goodbye. I told you people have been betting. We have bets on my time for this podcast. So
we've just broken an hour.
Yeah, we did, but we're still speeding. We're working it through. Yes. But I was waiting. When we were walking back, Storm definitely wanted to vote for Megan. And I said, it's got to be Carly. I pushed the hardest for Carly on this vote, harder than I probably should have. But I wanted to have happen what I wanted to have happen, mm-hmm. because I still knew there was other people in this game that would want to work with me, potentially a little more than they would want to work with some of the other people that were still there. And for me, I had great conversations with Carly. I actually think Carly's a delightful person, but she wasn't best for my game. Mm-hmm. She might have been best for other people's games, but she wasn't best for mine, and that's why I wanted her gone. And also, mm-hmm. I knew she'd be the least likely person to have an advantage.
In retrospect, looking at Megan going all the way to fourth place, do you think that not taking out Megan here was a mistake, or you still think Megan was very good for the longevity of your game?
I have no regrets with not taking her out there. I still think Megan had a lot to offer to my game, and she most certainly did. We worked together on some votes, mm-hmm. For sure. And her and I had some really good conversations out there, just conversations that like are outside of the game and are mm-hmm. meaningful to both her and I. And so, no, I wasn't ready to take her out there. I don't think it would have factored too much. Had we kept Carly, I still think Carly would have gone at some point before we merged, maybe. If not, she would have been one of the first few jury members.
What about Sebastian?
I'm good with that. I'm good with Sebastian because I knew he was not going back to that other tribe. No mm-hmm. way, shape, or form. Bash was with us.
So how difficult was it convincing Storm and Angela to vote for Carly?
I don't think it was too difficult when I pitched the logic that I had. Mm-hmm. I more so was saying, I said, do you really want to be idled or advantaged out on vote number 4 in this game and not be safe rather than sorry? Because I said, if one of us goes on this vote, none of us win this game. Mm-hmm. And I stand by that. If any one of us would have went on this vote, Ryan, Storm, myself, or Angela, none of us would have won.
Mm-hmm. So at some point today, so we'll just skip the tribal council. Carly ends up going home in a 5-2-1 vote. Bash votes with you all, which must have been fun. Was there any follow at camp afterwards?
Bash comes up to me and says, I'm going to vote for Carly. And I said, okay, go for it. Like, I don't care at this point. We had the numbers. He was like, just in case. And I said, again, go for it. I don't care. We don't need the vote. But yeah, back at camp, honestly, no, because I think that Megan voted for Bash, Carly voted for Bash, and then I guess Bash and Megan were now even because they both had voted for each other, which mm-hmm. might I tell you, they both vote for each other a couple more times, which is entertaining in itself.
At some point in this day, Angela finds a mutiny advantage, and so what was your thoughts on that? And when did Angela tell you about it?
So I think Parker just asked that, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Parker's question as well, like, when did Angela tell you about this advantage she found?
Okay, so the mutiny advantage. All I remember is we were laying down because we did not go back to camp fully. I forget why we did not go back to camp. It actually might have been right after the Carly vote because we were waiting for another challenge. And so we're laying in the grass, everyone's resting, and I can't really lay in grass because grass itches. So no, I mean, I sat in it as much as I could, but she whispers to me and says, I got to tell you something. I was like, noted. It's up here in the brain. Just let me know. And I think she whispered it to me while we were laying there. If she didn't, she told me when she was able to when we got back to camp. But she told me first from my recollection of everything.
Did you have discussions with her later about handing it over to a player in another tribe?
So this is what we talked about. We talked about Dina still, well, at that point, they hadn't lost yet again,
Yeah, they
right?
hadn't lost yet.
Okay. So go to the next challenge because I think it's after.
Well,
yeah, it's after. It plays
right before the next challenge. Is there any thought of throwing a challenge? Right, you know, Dina's important for your game. She's on the other side. You don't know how much danger she's in. Did you think she was? Did you think like she was in the chopping block, or was there like we should just throw to keep her safe anyways and get rid of Bash or Megan?
It's a crazy thing about the game. You have no idea what's going on, and that also plays a factor in future votes because think about it. Everyone thinks Bash is toast. Was Bash toast? No. So you don't know what connections people make over there and what's going to happen. Also, do I look like a person that is going to throw a challenge?
Probably not.
So if other people are going to throw it, fine. Just don't tell me.
So that takes you to Pete's Palooza, which was a running challenge.
Guess what? Again, who's doing the longest leg? Me. I basically said, we are not track star athletes. Yes, I'm a runner, but everybody else, no. Like some people, yes, can run, but the amount of running, I have never seen a game where you've had to run this much. Heaven forbid, had Casey and I had to rerun our portion of the leg, we would have died. Literally died. But at this point in time, we're on day 3 or whatever. I couldn't even keep day 4. I couldn't even keep my shorts up after day 2. Like they just were not staying up. So I'm here over having to hold my shorts up. Part of me is like, I might as well just take the shorts off. I should have done that. Literally should have just ran with no shorts on and just gave it a go. But this is where Casey and I, again, butting heads, of course, we run out there. He barely beats me. Took a shot to my ego for that one. I wanted to beat him so bad. You have no idea. So bad on the run. So bad. But I was dying. Yes. I was able to catch up to him. Like he had a quick sprint start, but I run distance. So you can like kind of keep the same pace. Get out there to the box. Casey gets there first, reads the question. I show up and he looks at me. He goes, so if I guess wrong, she could just guess another. And I was like, damn straight, I can just guess another. So we're standing there. Production's like, I don't really know what to do because Casey's like, I'm not moving. And I said, well, I'm not going to go in there and guess first. So I guess we're just going to stand here all day long until you make a decision. And then production comes, oh, we actually need to rethink something here. So then they made me turn around and said, okay, Casey can go. You turn around. Casey takes his guess. I turn around, I read the question. I said, all right, no idea what the answer is. We are just going to go with the name, who I think it could be. And I picked the name. I see the red marble. And I said, yes, I'm not going to die and pass out today and have people, my friends back at home, thinking I died out there on the show. So we were winning with this. But that challenge was brutal. It was a close race. I mean, freaking Storm and Ryan, the heart that they showed, I was so proud of them. Regardless if we would have won or lost that, everyone that competed put their heart and soul into that. And that's something that is so difficult to do. You have barely any food. You're not as hydrated as you normally would be out there. And I just felt like I was watching like my 2 brothers just compete and put it all out on the field. And that's what they did. And Ryan, when he sunk that ball, I have never felt more satisfaction for another person because that was his moment. He shined in that moment, and I was so proud of him.
So going back to camp, this is like after this challenge, this is probably when you're having the discussions about what to do with the mutiny advantage, right?
Yeah, definitely discussions about it. So everyone was talking about it a little bit. She finally I think she told Storm and Ryan too. And what we came up with was if Dina is still there, which we were assuming she probably would be, we were going to give it to Dina, and then our backup option was Keenan.
Now, had your tribe, another Parker question, had your tribe lost this challenge, who would you have been pushing the vote on?
Me personally, so here was the problem with that. I pushed so hard for the Carly vote. That would have been a vote where I'm like, all right, I have to keep my mouth shut a little bit more. Had I had it my way, I would have want Bash to go home, but I don't think that would have happened. I actually think Megan would have been the vote, and I was not going to like stick my neck out on the line for Megan again. I did it for the first vote, but if you do that again, people think to themselves, do they have a relationship? Do they know each other? Is there something fishy? Do they know of each other from a different game? So you have to be really subtle with who you push for and when. And if you do it too hard for too many rounds, then people say to themselves, okay, I need to watch out for something else.
Yeah, Storm would have felt like he was owed Megan at this point.
Exactly. So that's my thing. I would have said, yeah, can we do Bash? Would it have happened? Absolutely not. It would have been Megan.
So you get Tree Mail, and Tree Mail says there's another challenge. You know, you have already said like I'm expecting merge at 10. Were you expecting a second tribe swap at all?
That is the one thing I was surprised about during the game. When they said another tribe swap, I was like, but the worst feeling in the world before that tribe swap happened, I turn around and they say next person voted out of the game. I see Dina's gone. I was devastated. I was very upset because I was like, that is not good for my game. And we got really close. So I was like, I lost one of my buddies. This sucks. But then obviously you're thinking that through and like, got to get back into game mode. It sucks that you lost, a close friend out there. And then immediately that's when everything shit hits the fan. We got people passing stuff. Angela runs up to Keenan and is like, here's this, hold on to it. Keenan, I think, starts to read it. Casey's like, no, don't do that. Sharif's like, no, don't do that. Then we have the tribe swap. Then Josh comes over to our new group. Josh is there reading his mutiny thing. And then we're like, Keenan, do it. I'm like over there yelling it, switch. And then we have the fake idol pass off between Ryan and Storm. It was just madness. And I'm over there sitting like, all right, I'm chilling. Everyone else is going crazy, but I'm solid. I'm just relaxing.
So what's interesting about your new tribe, it's almost like your original tribe back together.
Yes, the gang was back together, and boy, was it fun for 5 seconds, and then it got real serious real quick.
Yeah, that 5 seconds being the mutiny challenge.
Well, the 5 seconds being the mutiny challenge and then everything that happens after the mutiny challenge, because I think I hugged James first and I was like, bro, what's up? I was so excited. And then, oh shit, I did him dirty. My bad. Like I felt so bad about it, but we'll talk about it. Yeah, the immunity challenge. Whew. That was heartbreaking. That was a little devastating. I think we had a chance to win it. I could tell some other people in their other tribe were not as steady as the people that were on our tribe, but you never know. It's always fun to have that, physicality of a showdown, and just the fact that, we got out on a rule, and rules are rules. So what are you going to do? We ended up losing, and Angela, no hard feelings. Like homegirl, like she put so much effort in every single challenge. And I said, everybody has that one low moment where they say, okay, it didn't work out and it's all good. You're not going to be good at everything. Clearly that's known about me. I was piss poor at many a challenges, but strong in some of them. So I'll take credit for that.
So losing this challenge, walking back to camp, who are you thinking like as the next vote? Are you thinking Bash because he's the last Inoga? Are you thinking Keenan because you've very kind of expressed like James was more value to your game than Keenan, or was it James because he was more of a late game threat? What's going through your head?
This is where the game the first time in the game where it was hard based on the connections and the relationship I had with somebody in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was walking, it was Angela and I walking back, and I said, listen, if there's another challenge, we got to keep ourselves strong here. And we both kind of looked at each other and were like, it's got to be James, doesn't it? And I said to myself, unfortunately, yes. And it broke my heart, to be honest, because everyone that has had a chance ever to have a conversation with James, class act, such a pure, kind soul that you cannot have a bad thing to say about him. And so we get back to camp. Our group meets up. We tell him. I could not have lived with myself if I did not tell him. I never was going to blindside him. I could not have done that. So yeah, we had to do it. And that was one of the lowest moments for me in the game, having to turn against James, because this is one thing for James. He should be so freaking proud of himself. He did amazing out there. He kicked ass in some of the challenges. He's a great thinker, a great strategist, and he proved a lot to himself by going out there. And so I know he's very proud, and I was so proud of him too.
Talk about, so you said like I could never blindside James, but why why not wait to tell him? Why not tell him like right before tribal council or like immediately?
So did we think that we were going to have to sleep outside another night before tribal council? No, none of us were thinking that through. We weren't thinking, oh, you might tell someone they're going home and then they have to sleep outside with you for another 12 hours. And then it's awkward. So no, we were not using our brains. Clearly, we were using our hearts at that moment and saying, yes, we're going to be open and honest about the vote and not think everything through clearly. And that's exactly what happened. But I will say we tried to make it like as good of a night as possible. I did still have some conversations with James. I think he slept on the other side of me that night and everything. Like I said, overall, just a great guy. And I'm bummed that it happened the way that it did, but still it was best for my game. And that's the one thing I said to myself coming out there. You're going to get connected to people. You're going to get emotionally invested with who they are as people, but you have to look at other options with what's going to get you further in the game and what's going to get you to the end. And I just knew further on down the road, James's likability as well. That's winning energy. People showcase in these games winning energy. And there were a lot of people in this cast that had winner's energy.
Is there anything else you want to talk about that night before the next tribal council?
No, honestly, we can go through that. I think that was probably the roughest night out there in terms of like cold, because we couldn't sleep out by the fire. We had to sleep in the shelter. And I do remember something funny. Ryan and I started in the middle of the shelter, and all of a sudden we rolled down the hill and we were at the end of the shelter. And I go, wasn't someone on the opposite side of you like that started? Because we were definitely in the middle and someone was next to me. And then all of a sudden it's like Ryan and I down the hill, just laying there. And I go, okay, this is interesting.
So the next day, James is voted out in a pre-unanimous vote. And you have your next immunity challenge. This is the Blindfold Navigation Challenge. What was your role in this challenge?
Oh, I was blindfolded.
Okay.
I do not navigate people. Also, fun fact, I wear glasses. Did I wear my glasses out there? Absolutely freaking not. Could I see well out there? No.
So why not wear? Why the decision not to wear your glasses?
Because I don't know. I like my look better without my glasses. I don't really know. There's no good reasoning. I obviously we have known this. Do I make the smart choices sometimes? Absolutely not. And so with some of the challenges, I'm squinting. I'm like, oh, can I see that? Is it okay? So had I had to call people on the field, I would have been squinting going, I think that person's on my tribe. Where's the piece? Who's the person? What's their name? So that would
So you were definitely not going to be the caller.
I was not going to be the caller. So all I remember is I was doing well at the beginning. And then all of a sudden, someone from Blue, I think it was Sharif, almost ran my ass over. And I go, all right, I'm walking like this the entire time now. blocking off like all the haters, all of that, making sure nobody hits me. I'm not trying to get bulldozed and flattened. Like, that is not what I signed up for.
So this doesn't end up very well for your tribe. And, you said you didn't want to throw challenges, but you're successfully protecting Storm, but now you have to make another hard decision. So Keenan versus Bash, talk me of the merits of keeping either of them.
So here's the deal. Between both of them, I think both of them were wild card players at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Bash had been with us a lot longer to develop more of the relationships, where Keenan went over, comes back to us. So we don't really know what he has over there. What we do know is Bash doesn't have anything over there anymore because he's been with us so long. And Keenan's had time with so many more people in the game that we haven't had time with. You have to think about this. Ryan, Angela, and myself stayed on that tribe the entire time. So we didn't have connections with all those other people over there. But what we did have was the connection with Bash. And Keenan had more connections than we did.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
But again, it was not an easy vote. And we told Keenan probably a little bit too soon as well, because this is what I love about Keenan, and that's why I talk about passion. Homeboy fought like hell to stay in this game. Mad respect. Even goes to look for an idol, potentially. I don't even know what's happening. Where the freaking rattlesnake is, where the rattlesnake was living, was lurking. I see Keenan go down that section of the woods, and I'm turning around and I'm like, I hope he's coming back. I hope he took the machete. And I look at camp, I see the machete, and I go, he didn't take the machete. So we're going to wait and see if Keenan's going to rise up from the neck of the woods there and come back. But he was fighting like hell to stay. And I respect that all day long. Fight for your spot. And, it was another tough vote. It wasn't an easy decision.
Mm-hmm. And so you get the medallion for the first time as a result of this vote.
Oh, lovely to get the medallion when you're going into what you know as a merge.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Well,
That's
and so
key time to have a medallion around your neck.
Not only are you going to merge, you're going to merge where there's 5 original Kwanu, 5 original Unoga, right?
Yes.
And so there's a clear world where it could just be a 5-5, and the extra vote makes you a target.
100%. It's one of those moments where you go game on, and this is what you want. You want to see a game, and a game began. And that's what you want at merge. You don't want predictability. You don't want to see, a steamroll from one side or the other that comes in with the numbers and can just pick off one group. You got a war. And boy, did a war happen.
So talk to me about Applebee's and how much you love
it. Okay. Here's the deal. So we're on the mat, and they tell us, all right, we're having Applebee's. And so I'm like, all right, Applebee's decent. I like some of the food there. They start naming off what's on the menu. First thing I hear, cheeseburger. I go, for Lauren. Next I hear mozzarella sticks. Third, those onion ring things that people like, XXX. And I go, what is Lauren going to freaking eat? What is she going to eat? Oh, and then it's the chips and artichoke. What is the dip that they do there?
Yeah, like an artichoke dip, I guess.
Yeah, whatever the dip is. And I said, I don't eat that either. So I guess Lauren's just going to starve.
What do you eat?
I mean, if they said there were some wings there, I would have been cool with the wings. I would have found something. But I just hear all these foods. And I even prepped myself before going out there. I said, do not eat too fast. Do not do it. You see people do it, and they get sick. The burger is bigger than my freaking head. I was so hungry, I ate that whole burger. Regrets. I think 35 minutes later, I'm standing over in the bushes, throwing up the entire merch feast. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, well, maybe it was the burger, and that's why I don't like burgers, because burgers suck. And I'm blaming the burger for this situation. I will say, the one thing I did love, that brownie was top tier, delicious.
Typically in a merge, you say, there is some sort of clue or advantage hidden. Were you actually looking for that?
I was watching the table. I was watching everyone. And Josh was kind of like being a little scheme. And I go, not sure how I feel about this kid at the moment. And so, yeah, I was watching everybody. And I always say, someone in your alliance, if they can scoop it up, it's a check in my box.
And so the Storm disclosed pretty quickly that he finds a clue.
Yep, Storm told us immediately. I mean, I will say, we had a very, very close alliance that we shared basically all information with each other. And that's really difficult to find, especially with a large alliance. Smaller alliances, 2 to 3 people, easier. But we had a group that shared pretty much all information.
So had you found the idol clue, would you have been as forthcoming?
In that situation, because it is a clue, yes, because as I said, I don't necessarily want to have the idol in my pocket per se. So I would have been fine sharing the clue with my group because I don't want someone from the other group to have it.
So talk to me about the lay of the land of this merge. You're meeting Sharif, Barbara, and Josh the first time. Talk to me about them.
Okay, so Barbara and I...
Plus, Storm already found the idol when he shared the clue with you, so...
Good enough. As like, I just don't... See, that's what my thing was. I was like, I don't care. It was the idol. I think it was the idol he found above. I don't even remember. I was... Like, we know where the idol is.
Yeah, in the camp, like above everyone.
Yeah, which I also want to fact check with that. Could everyone actually reach that? Because if everyone actually can't reach that, that is unfair. Because I'm sorry, I would have to be lifted up by another tribe member to be able to get it. So I think that is just, you have to think about height here, people. Just laying it out there. But okay, so in regards to everyone that was on the new tribe, I will tell you this. This is a fun moment that no one has talked about, I don't think. And so for me, I like to have fun. I like to do games, and I like to have a little bit of...
You're in student affairs. Like, you have a skill set in this. You
have games, and there's people that hadn't met me yet, so we hadn't had this conversation. So I play the game how do you pronounce different words? Because people say words differently. I think they have this filmed somewhere, but so we talked about like how people say like aunt, stuff like that. And then someone started talking about like a creek and a crick. And I was like, wait a minute, never heard crick before, but apparently it's crick. This is where I got the backlash from me. And I will stand by this. I never will not. So the thing you color with, I pronounce it a crown.
Oh, wow. That's unique.
Yes. And so everyone out there is giving me a hard time. And the one thing Casey agrees on with me is pronouncing it the way I do. And so we did a couple of those things. I think it's fun because people have different like ideas of how they're going to pronounce words. So it's just fun stuff like that. I mean, you have to have those good moments in the game, and we played that on our tribe, I think on day 2 or something. We were playing, never have I ever, all that stuff, which we will not disclose on here because this is live, but things like that. You gotta have fun out there. If you're not having fun, then what's the point of playing?
Winning, of course. No, I'm kidding.
So in terms of the 3 new people, so Sharif, I recognize Sharif because he and I came in together. So we kind of had, as I said, the eye contact a little bit. He was someone that I would have wanted to work with for sure. Barbara started talking to me a little bit about her family and everything. So we were just getting to know each other. Josh and I barely talked at all. And it's funny, I have talked to Josh more outside of the game than I did in the game. So that is just telling right there. But at the same time, as I talked about earlier, you can't get too close to too many people. You just simply cannot do that. Because then for me, it almost comes across as not super genuine. Like, you can talk about people's personal lives and all of that, but if you start to talk game and whatnot with literally everyone, that's when you become a threat. That's definitely when you become a threat.
And so of those players, so you have Barbara, Josh, Megan, and Sharif. Is Megan the one you're really kind of putting the time into?
Megan and Sharif, honestly. Like,
okay, both.
I really liked Sharif. He's a really nice guy and definitely someone I wanted to work with. But I knew we weren't gonna end up working with each other until further on down the road. So I wanted to kind of corral that relationship and let it like simmer some until I needed him in the game.
And so going into this, so we'll talk about the immunity challenge. So you have this challenge at the end of day 5 where you have to balance the discs on a larger disc. I don't know what those are called.
Yes.
How was this for you?
You want to talk about height again? Because here's my problem. I was getting to the point where I could not reach my stack, and you were going to have to like lower your paddle. And I go, the people that are, you know, as tall as trees out here can reach a little bit higher. So I think that plays a factor. But again, I went out, I finished in top 4 on that one. So I was happy with my performance, but also was like, okay, I didn't finish top 1, 2, or 3. So eyes are off of me. Probably for like maybe an option in terms of being like any type of challenge beast.
So talking about the scramble, because you don't end up voting till the day 6, but what are you thinking of for targets, and how much do you feel like there's a target on you?
Okay. So I wanted out Barbara or Josh because I knew those two were close and I wanted to split that up. So for my best game move, one of those two had to go. Here's where the scramble gets tricky. I mean, my name always got brought up because of the medallion. Sharif's name obviously got brought up because of the medallion. But at that point in time, Megan was very, very clear she did not want to get rid of a girl first because we were down in numbers in terms of girls. So I figured, okay, like we're going to be fine with that. The scramble's not even the interesting part. It's when you get to tribal. That's the interesting part.
Well, so how much were you aware of the theatrics that were going to happen at tribal? Someone
told me that there was going to be some little bit of a shakeroo with people moving stuff around. But that's the extent I knew. I didn't know like everything that was going to happen. I knew some of the puzzle pieces with it. But that's where one thing I wish did not happen. I wish that Ryan just kept the idol in his bag and didn't hand the idol in my possession. I do not like having things in my possession that are idols. What I wish would have happened was he kept it in there, and if he thought for any reason he needed to use it for me, pull it out himself and play it on me instead of letting me hold it and make the decision. And I would not have played my idol if Storm didn't play his idol. I would have kept that idol in my hand. But as soon as I saw Storm pull his out, I'm like, a couple things run through my mind. Okay, we solidify safety in more of our side just in case, because you can never be for sure who they put the votes on. You don't know because of all the shakeups, of all the switcheroos that were happening at that point in time. So I would have kept that if I didn't see Storm play his. So that was the kicker with that. Because if you remember, I'm sitting on it for a bit, and then Storm pulls his out. And I'm like, oh, crap, I think I got to play mine. And I look at Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, am I playing it? And he was like, play it. Should have looked at freaking Angela, and she would have been like, no, girl, stop it.
So one good thing about playing the idol is you're the only person who negated a vote the entire season with an idol.
Yeah, breaking records, all right? You're breaking great records. I got rid of one singular vote. But I will tell you this. Here's the one thing about the idol being gone. So you have to look at two pieces here. Ryan is showcasing him and I's relationship in the game by handing that over to me, showing that we are super close. The other thing with that, the idol then being gone is not a bad thing for my game. It's a worse thing for his game because the idol is gone and people go think two things. One, he can find idols and advantages in this game. Two, that's threatening that he's willing to give it to an alliance member and not hold on to it for himself. So that means that he's looking out for all parties in his alliance and not just himself as a singular person. So it wasn't terrible for me that it was gone. It was worse for Ryan that it was gone. And then at that point, I don't come across as super threatening for maybe a couple more rounds because they're like, oh, she just played an idol incorrectly. So people are factoring that in because everyone's trying to build their story to pitch to a jury at then. I just missed playing idol. So now I can skate a little bit under the radar, buy my time to then make a move.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love Ryan for playing it for me. That just like showed our brother-sister relationship out there. So Ryan, I love you.
And so how confident were you that it was going to be like a 6-4 vote or that your side was going to come out on top?
My confidence level, I had a decent feeling that Megan was going to vote with us.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Batch was going to vote with us. So I would say before all the like shaken went on, I thought probably 85% it was going to go in my favor. After the switcheroos, 75%.
Mm-hmm. So you end up taking out Josh in a 6-4 vote with both the penalty votes negated. Thanks to your immunity idol and Sharif getting the necklace as well. Megan gets the mark this time, so you're no longer going to be marked. So this next challenge is the paddle in hand challenge. We have a very heavy paddle. You have to balance the ball on it. How is that?
What is up with the arms?
You love running and you had your fill of running challenges.
Okay, but here's the thing. I will tell people, yes, train for one thing. Work on your dominant arm because you just need your dominant arm. You don't need your other arm for anything. And just build that up, get all the muscles going, practice all the strength, and you'll be just fine for 40% of the challenges. That is my advice to people that want to play this game.
Because it's a heavy paddle. I mean, the balancing is fine, but like, I remember when I did, I was just like, I play tennis. I balance like a ball on a racket all day long, but like, I just could not keep it up. I was like so sad.
My arm was hurting, but you know me, my stubborn ass. I'm thinking they said 2 people get immunity. Oh, that necklace is going around me.
Mm-hmm.
I was not dropping that damn paddle. I'm too stubborn for it.
And so, how close were you to dropping by the time you win immunity?
Oh, I was not dropping. They were going to drop before me. Let me tell you, I was not going to drop that thing. The only way I was going to lose that is if the ball rolled off. I was not dropping that paddle.
So you and Storm both win immunity, and it's got to feel good to have immunity, especially after maybe feeling a bit of a target after last Tribal Council.
Hell yeah. The 2 people that played idols are the 2 people safe. Let's rock and roll into that next Tribal Council for sure. Like the strategy and everything. I was so happy Storm won. I was like, yes, my dude.
And so, talking about the strategy, was there any fallout you had to deal with after the previous vote, and like what were you looking to do at this next vote?
There was no fallout for me. The people that didn't vote with me, good luck, is how I was thinking. Like that was my thought process going into the next vote. So what are we down to? Final 9?
You're at the final 9. Yeah, you and Storm have immunity.
Okay.
Who are you voting for?
I don't remember. So this is
that's
what I was like. This
is where you vote out Casey.
Oh, how can I forget?
I know, right? Somewhere Casey is crying at hearing that you forgot about him.
I'm so sorry, Casey. You do know I love you so much. Oh yes, this was my moment where I was like, yes, I can hold up my parchment and say what I want about this kid. Which I did do that. I told people on my tribe, I said, I just want to hold the parchment up and say, enjoy your 26 almonds for a snack in the lounge. Enjoy, my friend. Because he said during the season, he has 26 almonds before he goes to sleep. I said, yes, I can talk about that because, boy, I hope they had some almonds for you.
And so was there a lot of strategy happening around this vote, or was this one of the more straightforward votes for you?
This was straightforward for me.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew who I was writing on that dang parchment as soon as I won immunity.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was pretty straightforward for most people because what was the vote count?
So this is a 6-2-1. And so let's talk about a couple of things. So Sharif uses his, Sharif finds advantage, safety without power, and books it. What were your thoughts on that?
So I did hear that he was going to play that because I think he told Casey or something like that, and then Casey told some other people, and it got flowed down to like basically everyone that knew that was going to get played. Sharif didn't need to play, but Sharif doesn't know that, and it's still a smart move because I think it expired the round after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't talked to him, so I have no idea how long he could hold on to
Yeah, I
that.
think it expired the round directly after that one, so he had to use it on one of the two.
Mm-hmm. And Sebastian ends up voting for Meg in this tribal council, and so were you surprised or did Bash let you know, like, hey, I'm gonna vote for Megan just out of just out of safety in case an idle advantage is played and for KC?
Half the time you did not know what Bash was gonna do, and you let Bash do him. As long as he wasn't writing any of my people down, I didn't care. Which Megan, yes, was one of my people, but not not on my side at the moment.
So Casey goes out, and during his exit, there's a bit of a fake idol fiasco. How much do you know about that going down?
I knew it was going down. So we everything. I saw the whole exchange and everything that happened. We were walking to tribal council. So that's the next thing about our alliance. We all knew what was going on and making sure to keep each other on the same page. But Storm was like, "I'm going to do this." I said, "Have at it, buddy." Because you're either going to make a brilliant move here or you're going to create an enemy. And, an enemy was created. So that's the thing about games. Some people would leave that game saying, okay, that was freaking awesome. I was duped. No worries. And other people leave the game, they take it personal. And so it's just kind of reading the people, reading how they're going to react to certain situations. So I'm like, have at it, my friend. Take it away. Enjoy. Do that. Because at one point in time, I had a fake idol in my bag that we had made back at camp. Ryan made it. So I had some of the fake idols with me at one point, but not too long.
So let's take stock at Final 8. So you've kind of given to the first two merge votes. You've successfully taken out two major components of the opposing alliance. So your alliance is looking to be at like a 6-2 advantage potentially. Who is the most important? If you could rank the people in the merge tribe, who is most important to your game to least important?
All right, so we're down to Final 8. Okay.
Final 8.
So I only got to rank 7 people because, of course, you don't have to rank yourself.
Number 1.
Top tier. Okay, so at that point in the game, who was most important and vital for me? Okay, Angela, Storm, Ryan, Megan, Bash, Sharif, Barbara.
Okay, and so at one point, are you already looking at your core 4 alliance and being worried about them at all, or is this going to come a little later?
I wasn't worried about any of them at that point in time, but I was eyeing my opportunity to make a move. Okay, I had been eyeing my opportunity to make a move. I was thinking about my opportunity at Final 9, was never going to do it at that round, but what move was going to make more sense for me in the game.
And so when it comes down between Final 8, Final 7, what kind of tips you to make a decision, let's do something at Final 7 versus Final 8?
I think Final 8's too soon. And also, at that point in time, I wanted to clip one more person from their side for sure, because then if you take out someone from your side, they can still get a ton of numbers and then maybe take over the entire game. And here's the thing about Barb. Her and I had great conversations that were non-game related, and I love that because a lot of times, like I said, you can't talk game with everybody. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, she has good rapport with a lot of people here, not maybe from a game standpoint, but from a personal relationship standpoint. And every time someone sits at the end, you have no idea how a jury is going to base their vote. They could base the vote on who's the most likable person, who's the most strategic, who's the most social, who's best at challenges. You don't know. So you got to make sure you're still taking out people who, in your mind, could be threats to your game.
So what happens next is you all have a reward challenge. This is the Bit Tipsy challenge with the stack the blocks on the platform. And unfortunately, Angela, Sebastian, Megan, and Ryan kind of set a record for that challenge.
Yeah, and Storm and I go, oh, guess we're not freaking eating again. Him and I got the least amount of food out there out of anybody because the people in blue went on that boat ride. They had that lunch, which it was definitely a lunch. It wasn't just a tuna.
You had a slice of pizza at some point.
But if you're comparing a sandwich, a bag of chips, peanuts, And this is the real kicker. I'm sorry, if you get a full bottle of Powerade for electrolytes, that is a game changer right there. Like that can give you a lot of energy and fuel you. So yes, I got a slice of pizza, but still, Storm and I ate the least.
And a hamburger for 30 minutes.
Yes, that hamburger for 30 minutes. But we had the least amount of food out of anybody. So when I saw who was in our group, I go, wow, the height difference. We had no shot. None whatsoever. It was terrible. It was a travesty.
And so you're back at camp with Barbara, yourself, Sharif, and Storm. Did anything happen of note?
Oh, yes. This was the idol hunt, the showdown. Barb and Sharif versus Storm and myself. Looking. We made a confessional together too. That was kind of cute, I guess. But we're all like, we're going to cook rice. All of a sudden we get back to camp. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone's everywhere. And then you're watching people. You're digging with your little stick here, keeping your eyes up. Storm's going, go down there and watch Sharif. I was like, I got you, even though you got the eagle eye, my friend. And so, yes, it was just craziness happening. And I'm freaking over it. I can barely stand up at this point. I was just dead. And then finally everyone's like, truce for rice. And I said, yes. Does anyone know how to make rice? And all of us look at each other and we're like, oh, shit. we're gone.
Not even Barbara?
Oh, no. It was so... We had to pour so much water in there. It was ridiculous. We did not cook it right. And we cooked way too much. And then we didn't put enough water in. It was a disaster.
So did you have very crunchy rice?
I don't know. It was crunchy. I ate it. I was just like, give me some damn food, please.
This is why rice makers are a beautiful thing.
And I was not one of them. I think people might have seen me and were like, oh, I think she can cook. No. No.
So after this, you get to go to another immunity challenge. And is this your least favorite challenge? The memory challenge?
Wait, was it the memory challenge?
This is the memory box challenge. That batch one.
Oh, God. That's where I said, where's my beer so I can be blazed and try this? Because I cannot believe... When I looked in Bash's, I was like, sir, are you good? Because, I don't know, this is a little shaky here. I see the tables. I see the memory challenge. And I said to myself, ooh, this is no good. No bueno. And so we're looking at different boxes. And then the questioning happens. And this is my favorite part of the entire thing. We don't need to go through the questions because I knew I was terrible. The one thing I did know, I knew what box the skull was in. I knew where the skull was. Okay. I knew that one. So I said, this is going to come up. Then they get to the tiebreaker, the marbles. And so the tiebreaker was whoever's closest to the marbles without going over, you know, it would get the break if that needed to happen. So I go, all right, 29. Then I hear without going over and I go, all right, 26. Then we get back to camp and I hear one of the boxes had 21. And I said, oh, well, we're doing something right. So apparently there were 72 marbles. So I was really in the ballpark and that tells everyone how great I did at that show.
Were you worried at all learning that immunity was going to be granted after the votes are cast?
No, not for that one. No.
Okay. Is it because you felt relatively sure that Barbara wasn't winning, or?
Yes, I felt relatively sure who did terrible and who did kind of well.
Do you remember what you placed in that challenge?
Oh, I beat Angela. I did beat her, but by 1. I think I got 3 and she got 2. So I was like, yes, winning.
And not even on food.
Yes, no food. Shame. She should have gotten more than 2. She had a mind there.
So the Barbara vote was a fairly easy vote for you because you're looking to diminish the minority somewhat more, and you don't have a big strategic connection with her.
Yeah, no strategic connection with her, but a social connection with her. And I think that at that point in time, that was going to be the best move for my game.
So At what point? So, do you start talking with Angela end of day 6 or beginning of day 7? Like, hey, let's maybe think of doing something here at Final 7. Like, talk to me about those conversations, how they evolved.
So we started strategizing. We knew we were going to have to make a move because at that point in time, I felt that Angela and I were getting everything pretty much that her and I wanted in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to get what I wanted for my move in this game because she originally was like, oh, maybe Storm. And I was like, no, it's got to be Ryan. Because, as I said before, Ryan, sweetheart, likable, great person, great personality. You sit next to that at the end, even regardless of what he does, he's still going to have a good case for himself. And Storm had already done the swapperoo with Casey, which I was saying to myself, he might not like that. So that's another like ticker and an X against Storm there. So yeah, that was kind of like my thought process, like trying to get out there. It's got to be Ryan. That's who we're going to have to gun for over Storm.
So let's get to the Final 7 challenge. This might be your favorite challenge because like this, you're finally a challenge that's not, there's no memory and there's no height disadvantage.
All right. This challenge. Wow. It's not my proudest moment out there. It's one of my proudest moments out there. I was never going to give up with that challenge. And I think I said the same thing with like holding the ball on the thing. I was not dropping that paddle. Same thing with that. I was not dropping my arm. Was I like up for negotiation and joking around saying, what food do you got? What do you have for us? Hell yes, of course. What is funny is I had a group of friends that were keeping up with this. They had their group chat. I return home to this group chat. They have as like, the picture for our Facebook group chat, my face pictured on the Statue of Liberty. And I'm like, y'all, for real? From this challenge in particular. So they were very invested. Shout out to my friends that like support me through the game. I had a ton of them. They were great. And yeah, love you all. But yes, I came home to that. And as soon as it was over, I'm like, I don't want to get wet. That bucket better not be falling on me. Someone immediately came and cut the rope. And then here's where things get tough. The person that comes to me first to help me, Ryan. And I go, wow, you're making that vote much more difficult than I want it to be. And that is what I'm talking about with the human side, that component. And that's where I said to myself, coming into the game, you got to separate that. This person is still going to be there for you outside of the game. You are still going to have that connection and that bond, but you have to play your game and make your move. And this was the time for me to make my move. And I knew it had to be Ryan, unfortunately.
According to Pete, that challenge had 88,000 hits during the week. So it's a good show.
It was definitely a good show for sure.
So talk to me about the scramble post this challenge of figuring out who are you and Angela going to rope in to make this mindset happen.
We knew that we could get Megan and Sharif with us. Like we knew that was going to be happening because they're thinking through it as well. Hey, we got to get rid of one of the original yellows out, of course. So us connecting with them, that forms that foursome. However, one of them also wanted Storm gone too. I was like, no, I can't. It's not happening. But then it comes in with the deal that Sharif and I made, and he's like, so Storm next. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. In my mind, hell no. I'm not voting out Storm next. But of course I'm going to say what he wants to hear. And so we get our group, we get our people, we leave Bash out of the vote. Should we have told him? Sure. Would it have mattered? No. I mean, like I said, Bash was Bash out there. You just didn't know what the dude was going to do, and you just kind of had to roll with his own coaster.
And so thinking about players' perception of you, were you worried that that you were going to look like too big of a threat after this, or you are how much are you gauging your threat meter to how other players are perceiving you at this point before you make this vote happen?
So at that point in time, how I felt about my game, I felt that was one of the strongest games, if not the strongest game I have ever played up into that point. Just me personally, just the connections I had with people, the social game I had, winning challenges, making moves, still getting what I wanted, and staying loyal up into that point to my people that were my core.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I knew I wanted to do a few more things if I was going to get to the end, to have just those couple more boxes checked on what separated myself from other people's games. Because that's the one thing, if you're sitting next to someone that played a similar game to you, what do you have that's different than theirs to separate you from them for a winning game? And that was always running through my mind. And I even said in a confessional, I was never going to want to sit at the end with Angela. I had that in my mind. I knew her and I could not sit together, and she knew the same thing. I wanted to sit with Bash and Megan at the end. That's who I wanted to sit with. That was my ideal end game. But for this vote, I knew it had to be Ryan, as much as it hurt me. And like I had said so many times when I went to go vote for people, if I was playing with my heart, you would still be here, but I'm playing with my head. And that's what I had to keep reminding myself, is I'm going to have maybe one shot to play this game ever. And I'm putting it all out there, laying all the cards on the table, and going to play the best game that I possibly can play and have fun doing it.
So why Bash and Megan for your dream final three?
Because I think I could have beaten them both. I actually do think I had a strong chance to beat almost anybody when it came down to the final seven. In my eyes, that was one of the strongest final sevens. Everyone had, I would say not everyone, mostly everyone could have won that game from that group of final seven. Mostly everyone could have pitched to the jury a winning game.
That's interesting, because I think players, from what I heard, Megan seemed like a big end game threat, but you think your game would have just spoken for itself?
Yes. So do I think Megan, huge end game threat? Of course I do. But also, like I just said, you don't want to sit next to most of those people anyway.
Yeah.
And it really does come down to the delivery, the way you present your game at a final travel council. And I think I could have pulled that off just on the way I speak, the way I talk, and just reminding people, these are the game moves. Nothing was personal. It was how I was playing the game to win. And, you don't know what the jury's going to respect. You don't know what they're looking at. But also, like, Storm might have been a good option to sit next to too. But when I was thinking in the game, my ideal final three was Bash and Megan.
So when you're going to this vote, you have to think of, like, what's going to happen afterwards? How am I going to recover? Like, because you're already talking about, like, you don't want to vote out Storm, and you end up targeting Sharif. So how in your mind were you going to, like, ameliorate or, like, apologize and reel back in Sebastian and Storm to you?
So I knew I was in trouble when I got the medallion, but I knew it was a possibility I was going to get the medallion. I knew at that point in time, Angela and myself getting the medallion, 110%.
Why do you think Ryan chose you over Angela?
I think him and I had a little bit of a closer connection out there, as I talked about. Like, we had really good conversations. I know a lot about his life. He knows a lot about my life. And we were very, very close. And so I think it came down to that. I think it hurt worse for me. I just reword this. I think it hurt worse to him that it was me that did it than having her do it.
I mean, so when you're making this vote, I mean, for most of the season, the medallion hasn't really affected the outcomes. So how much was that factoring into, I want to blindside Ryan, and then, like, oh shoot, he has to give a medallion. What's the chance he'll give it to me?
Well, the thing was, that was at the moment where you're praying to God, the medallion died at 6. So that was kind of a little bit of the thought process too, praying to God there.
So you pull off the blindside beautifully, which I feel like that blindside is, like, the definitive move of this season.
It was the biggest move of the season, in my opinion. Yes.
And so you pull off the blindside, you get marked by Ryan as a parting gift.
I do.
What happens after?
go and do damage control, right? You go and talk to Storm and let Storm know, like, we're good. Like, Ryan was going to beat everybody. Like, you have to kind of, like, put that in their ear. Then Sharif and I had the conversation, like, we're still good. Megan, same thing. It's just having all the conversations with everyone. At that point, no offense, I really didn't care what Bash thought because he was very hard to talk strategy with. He was a fun, entertaining character, but very difficult to talk strategy with. And yeah, final 6, Angela. This is where I think, had the medallion gone to Angela, I think the game could have been different. I think there's a chance she would have gone home, not me. And I think because I got it, then it's easy to rally votes, especially at final 6. Because think about this.
Yeah.
At that point in time, the guys can just vote together, the 3 of them, and take me out as a 4, like with that extra vote, so that you don't even need to worry about Megan, Angela, or myself. And so having that medallion at final 6 can make or break your game, and it broke my game.
So let's talk about that challenge, right? Because it's your last immunity challenge. This is the race to fire making, where you have to kind of do the puzzle, the jailbreak challenge with the rope and sticks, and then you have to start a fire. You mentioned that you maybe struck a flint a couple times part of this season, but how are you feeling about a fire making challenge?
Oh, I was just worried about overcoming the sticks part. I saw the sticks and I go, didn't tie the ropes at all this season, didn't put any sticks together. We're rocking. I knew I could do the spit thing, running back and forth. That was fine because, again, running. And then I get to the travesty of the ropes, and I think Sharif's still chilling there with me. I'm just sitting down, like, giving it my all and laughing. So, yeah. What are you going to do?
By the way, the drinking challenge is on. So everyone, please participate because we're going for 4 hours, aren't we?
No, we're almost through. Thank you, Mr. John, my buddy.
So coming back to camp after the challenge, at what point do you sense like, I think I'm in trouble?
Oh, I knew.
Okay.
Oh, I knew. Because here's the one thing, people need to do a better job at lying, because people are looking at me and they're like, yeah, like Sharif. I was like, yeah, Sharif sounds good. Like Sharif comes to me, Storm. I'm like, yeah, like fine. And I'm sitting there going, these fools are about to vote me out. Like, come on, people. Like, it wasn't even a blindside. Like, that would have been cool to be blindsided, not going to lie, at 6. But I knew. I knew. But the one thing was, I did not give up in the sense of, I made sure to put in people's ear about Sharif, how big of a jury threat Sharif was. He didn't piss people off. Everyone was good with him. And that's why I was fighting. At that point, it became me versus Sharif. And I was telling everyone everything I possibly could. I was going to Megan. I was going to Angela. I was like, Storm, I know I went against you on the last bowl, but come back to the good side, the fire and ice, baby, you know? Even though there's only a couple of us left, but still.
Well, so you're not super surprised when you see your name appear 6 times at Tribal Council.
I will tell you this. I did hear that Megan was considering playing that idol on me.
Yes, let's talk about that, because did you know Megan had an idol?
I did not.
Okay. Had you known Megan had an idol, would you have just been in your ear constantly?
No, and here's why. Because I wouldn't have needed to be. Think about it. She was this close playing it for me, and I didn't even know about it. And so I feel like you're almost coming across as begging someone to save you in the game, whereas she's making the decision for her. Her saving me, that's her move. Had I known about the idol and I talked to her about it, and then she does play the idol on me, that almost is my move, convincing someone when you're down to final 6 to play an idol on you to save you. That is the person that convinces you. That's their move. If you don't know about the idol, person that plays the idol on you, that is solely their move. So
let's say this happens. So you don't know Megan Azel. She plays the idol for you. Sharif goes out with your sole vote. What happens at final 5 for you?
Angela's got to go.
So so do you think you have a chance at winning the immunity challenge? As you're balancing the lake? How do you? So you
I heard about that challenge, and I think I could have given Megan a run for her money. As soon as I heard that, I was like, damn it. Because at that point in time, after Final 7, I said, the way I get to the end, winning out. Mm-hmm. I knew that. Winning out or pitching my case and saying, I can do this at Final 6 to get them to go on the Sharif train, which I think I gave some really good points on why Sharif should have gone. And I feel bad because I do think I put a target on him to follow me next. I really seriously do. So I think at the same time, with me trying to save myself, I'm also hurting Sharif's game a little bit, but I was there to play, and what are you going to do?
Yeah. So let's say Final 6, you have the idle play on you. Final 5, you pull off immunity, you target Angela. In that case, you're taking Sharif out at Final 4?
Oh, yes, most certainly so. Okay. Yes.
So looking back at the merge, is there anything you could have done differently outside just not receiving the not being marked by Ryan after the Final 7 tribal council that could have helped give you more of an edge at that Final 6?
A lot of people have asked me this question, and my answer to this question still has not changed. I do not think there's anything I would have done differently out there. I am so damn proud of my game. I am proud of everything I did out there because I do know that Ryan was going to come for my ass. He has since told me that he was going to try and vote me out at 6. So everyone, I think, was wanting to vote me out at 6.
Yeah.
Those people. Whatever. Crazies.
So as a jury member, talk about your philosophy. Like, what do you want to see in a winner?
Oh, you know what I wanted to see in a winner. I wanted to see someone fight for why they deserve to win the game. And boy, did I make them fight. I gave them a little bit of a softball question.
Ryan shrugging to like, yeah, you got me before I got you.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. Yeah, so me as a jury member, I want to see someone fight for it. So when I was leaving, I said I'm voting for the winner of the season. And boy, did I vote for the winner of the season. But with that being said, I was very proud of Storm up there. I think Storm gave a great final tribal council. And my question was brutal. And I told them, I gave you a softball. Be prepared for the next question. And I've had people come up to me with my final tribal council question, the second one, and say, whoa, wasn't expecting that. And I said, yeah, I'm not like always nice. I can have a little bit of, I got to be hard on some people.
So I believe your 2 questions were what the cartoon character you most like,
yes,
followed by who doesn't deserve to be in the jury. 2 people.
2 people, and they had to write it down. Yeah.
And if someone, so did anyone say your name for that?
No, and if they did, they would have been screwed.
No, because I always feel like maybe the contrary part of me wants to write their name. So you don't deserve hearing for answering that question.
Honestly, I would have laughed though. I would have been here for it. But I have said that I've seen people lose games over this because that is my prime question that I ask if I'm on a jury. So I ask it every single time I'm on a jury. But I will say it did factor in for one person. James's name got written down by Storm, and James was thinking of voting for Storm. So that's what my point was. We let everyone go first. You got to hear from the entire jury. What is your read on people and their questions that they asked you? And so, yeah, sometimes it can do it to you.
Did it have any factor in your voting?
No, because they listened to my instructions and got it right. So of course not.
No. Yeah, because like it's a painful question, right? Because you're gonna make 2 people mad, and like my default would have probably just said Keenan and James because they were pre-merged. Like I might have just said that as my cop-out answer, as the easy one versus like targeting people in the merge.
DC Storm's comment.
Yeah, just Storm's acknowledging like he was Angela's number 1. I was never getting his vote, and James confirmed.
There you go. See, I'm not saying like James was 100% going to vote for him, but I was like, it was still like an option.
Yeah. So I don't know what a good answer to that question would be, and like, yeah, and so it's hard. It's rough.
It's rough, but again, all the games are rough. You got to be ready for any and every question, and so I gave it to them a little bit.
So. Is there anything else you want to talk about your jury vote and your decision, or anything else about your game we haven't covered?
I got everything covered in terms of that. I'm so proud of Angela. She and I talk every single day since we've been back. actually talk to a lot of these people basically every single day. There's a group of us that are just living our best life, and they're all family to me. Even the ones that I don't talk to as much, I have made an effort to chat with basically everyone from the cast. So it's been freaking great, let me tell you. So yes, I'm so happy Angela won. She deserved it. She played a killer game and she repped it for us, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She repped it for Fire and Ice. What can I say?
So as we wrap up, I kind of want to just throw some rapid fire questions at you just to hear your thoughts on it. Are you more fire or are you more ice?
I always bring the heat, so I gotta be more fire. But I will say this: what was funny is I talked about this with Sharif because he was like, I wish I was in the Alliance, and I was like, yeah, you were the rain that washed me away at Final 6, so I guess you can somewhat slither your way into the Fire and Ice.
What was your lowest moment in the game?
I would say like the lowest moment in the game was probably that one night where it was really, really cold and no one could stay warm, and you're just praying that the sun's going to come up, and you just hope it does, and you just get through it. And that's the thing with all the people out there. We got through it together. You couldn't have gotten it through it by yourself. And just having like the camaraderie and everyone just supporting one another and being there for each other, that's priceless in my opinion.
James is like, so every night?
Not just every night. There was one night in particular that was literally hell.
What was your highest moment?
Okay. So my highest moment in the game was, so believe it or not, I am a type of person that holds up a lot of barriers about myself in my life. And I am not an open person, and I kind of keep a lot of things close to my chest, and I'm not vulnerable with a lot of people. So my highest moment in the game was definitely feeling like I finally could open up to people and be me. And not to say that I'm not always me. It's just I have a really tough time like letting people know who I am, and the fact that I had that opportunity and was able to have conversations with some people out there means more to me than anything I could take away from the game. Yes, I said going into the game, I came out there to check one box, and that was winner. And I didn't check that box, and that's okay. I checked the box of I came away knowing who I am as a person and feeling that like validation about myself, and knowing that I have a group of people that love me no matter what. And it just was the best moment for me, because that game breaks you down in so many different ways. And I don't let a lot of people into my life. I'm there for a ton of people. I have a huge heart. Anytime anyone calls me, I will answer the phone for you, but I don't let myself be vulnerable to other people and or express who I am as a person. And leaving this game, I'm happy and proud of who I am. And for the people that are in my life and that love me, they love me, and that's enough. And that's why I always say, like, even when I left the game, the people that don't hear it often, I say, you do matter. You deserve to be loved. And I mean that like genuinely from my heart, because not enough people hear that. And there's so much that goes on a day-to-day basis where people get shut down or like told they're not good enough for this or that. But you need those people that love and support you. And I got a lot of that from this cast. And I went home to a lot of my close friends from the org community and other friends that have been very much supportive of me. And I leave the game a lot happier and just overall a better person. So yeah, being able to finally open up about who I am was truly life-changing for me.
You're a veteran of a lot of orgs. So what are the different aspects that surprised you most about live games? Was that one of the major ones?
So it's funny, orgs, I get very, very close to people, but what you're not doing is you're not living with those people out there. You're not with them starving. You're not with them being cold at night. You are having to rely on people for some survival aspects. Whereas in orgs, yeah, you can talk to these people and then you can turn your phone off and come back and talk to them. Whereas in this game, you had to be with people 24/7, and a lot of people had vulnerable moments out there. And I never thought that I would have. I didn't think that I would have, but it breaks you down in a different way. And it's something that I walk away, that's priceless to me, because I'm living my best self and my best life and getting all the happiness that I haven't felt like I've had.
So it's hard to go back to these other rapid fire questions.
No, go for it. I'm sorry. That was
like
that was really, really personal, but that was like coming back to like something that I talked to with Megan in the game and saying like, there's more to the game and just us maybe going to the end with each other, because that would have meant something more special than the game is kind of what I'm wrapping this all up into.
So who in this game ended up surprising the most?
Who surprised me the most? James, because I'm like, I can't say enough. I'm so damn proud of that kid. And I know I said kid, he's older than me, but he knows what I mean. My brother, he came out and found out a lot about himself too, in terms of like the journey, and walked away with a lot of great memories and a lot of good things. And he's a strong person. So he surprised the hell out of me, and I'm so proud of him.
What's the person who's a player you wish you had a chance to work with but didn't?
Oh, Drew. Could you imagine me and Drew?
It would have been a lot of fun.
We would have been like bumping with each other. Oh my goodness. Like, could you just imagine seeing us together? I'd be like, Drew, let's like, fist bump. Let's do this. He would have been, it would have been a show. Let me tell you.
I think I know what your favorite individual challenge was, but what's your favorite tribal challenge you did?
Okay, so tribal challenge, definitely, as I said, the first individual immunity win. But this is kind of tricky, because now I'm forgetting the challenges. This is so bad. What the heck? Now I'm forgetting.
It all blurs together.
Now I'm forgetting. It all blurs together. Okay, we're just rolling with the first individual immunity challenge, because I can't remember anything else.
Would you prefer doing a puzzle challenge or a memory challenge?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, I would still be sitting in the back for both, but with the puzzle, at least maybe if I get enough aggression, I could jam some pieces in and see what happens. So we're going with puzzle.
Yeah, I guess my final question, would you do this all again? Would you play another live game?
I think you and everyone else knows the answer to that question. And that question is yes. But with that being said, I don't know if I could ever play a better game than I played in this one. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see about this. This was my favorite game I've played in, and I didn't win. And it's A-okay. You've got to be proud of some stuff. And I'm proud of that 6th place finish and kind of like everything that came with it. When they interviewed me, I was like, I'm getting on this cast. You better believe it. And I told them, I was like, y'all are picking me. Don't you worry. And they picked me. And here we are. And I came out, had an adventure of a lifetime that you cannot replace with anything else.
Well, Lauren, on that note, I don't think I have any other questions. I just want to say thank you so much for your time. You were my favorite confessionalist this season. I like listeners of the confessionals like, oh man, I really want Lauren to win, because I'm having a blast listening to her narrate the game and everything that's unfolding. So yeah, no, just thank you for your time. And is there anything else you want to bring up before we close out?
Well, yes, I came to play, so I'm happy I put that through with my confessionals. Yes, I do have one more thing to say. I just want to thank everyone that was on the cast, that was part of this journey with me. The game would not have been the same without all of you. The ones that know, y'all know. I can't thank you enough for being there for me for particular moments that have impacted my life. Also, with that being said, I love everybody. Y'all are family to me. If anyone ever needs anything, you know where to find me. I will freaking drive my ass to your place or fly to you. If anything comes up, you know you got me. But again, hands down, production killed it. I've walked away with a ton of people from production that are even my friends. It's just something you can't explain to other people unless you've been through it. And I am so damn proud of every single person that made it on this cast, because no matter where you finished, you made the cast. Someone else didn't. And you got to be proud of the game that you played. So with that being said, I love everybody, and also my friends back at home that supported me through this journey. I can't thank them enough. And the messages that came back truly warmed my heart. So, Steven, thank you for interviewing me. I said I was going to be the shortest podcast. Why am I still here? What's going on? But thank you for interviewing me, and thank you again for, wanting to talk about this incredible, crazy ass journey.
Yeah, no, thank you for your time. I just loved hearing about your adventure and everyone else, and getting the full sense of the story, because we see so much in the live feeds, but we don't see everything. And so it's really great, really kind of committing to memory everyone's experiences and having this for the community. So those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for your time. This is one of many interviews I have done. There are more to come. I was sitting down with Megan this Wednesday at 6:30, the 4th place finisher for the season. And then I have more lined up, but for July, because I'm going on vacation. And so keep your eyes posted, eyes peeled, whatever. So there's more to come. But again, Lauren, thank you. Everyone else, thank you, and have a good rest of your day.
Bye.